All right, staying in this conference, let's go to RC, who has a resolution for Baylor. What do you got?
I, if I could be on the Baylor's behind the basket and just be like a relief pitcher calling them when they get jump shot happy and just tell them go to the bullpen. Like you gotta give me something in the paint. Like you just a sign. It ain't even a play. It's just going to the bullpen. They have to figure out a way to get some balance. I don't think the team is gonna get much. I mean, their guard play is as good as any team in the country. They're not gonna get much on the front line, with Bridges on, but they're not gonna get a lot of scoring out of those guys. But you got that kind of guard play. I get it. I mean, Keontae George talent. I like to see his shot selection get a little better. But again, I think he's an elite talent. The guard play with LJ Cryer and Adam Flagler. I mean, those guys they're big time. I don't have much to say. I think that their losses against UVA and Marquette is a telltale sign. Like defensive teams they got after them, surprises me with the quality of their guard the Marquette was just a massive blowout. I never saw that coming. But again, it's Baylor. I'm never going to count them out. The only thing I just say is just a little balance being there. Just get the ball a little bit pink, not get so jump shot happy. I just think they're a team that just gets real jump shot happy, shoots it from all over, which they should. But if they can get a little bit more balance in their shot selection, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, to me, it's just improving the decision making a little bit, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that overall, this team is just a little bit flawed in how they're built. Like, I don't think Jalen Bridges is the guy that you want him to be.
No.
And I don't think that they necessarily have the right kind of 5-man. There's two different kinds of rim protection, right? There's a kind of rim protection that you get from an athlete like Jonathan Chamwa, and there's rim protection that you get from Flo Thamba, who's just one of these dudes that's elite at just being in the way. And I think that's what you're getting from Flo. And that's fine. That is what it is. I think that your 5 and your backcourt are what you want them to be. But we saw that game against Marquette. I think that performance was a little bit of a fluke. Like, I think that had just kind of an outlier game. And then the Virginia game, like Virginia didn't miss a shot in the second half, right? I don't think Baylor's defense is what it's been in the past, but at some point, like you would expect, instead of Virginia hitting 9 straight threes, like maybe if they only hit 6 out of 9, then Baylor wins that game. So I'm not necessarily too worried about those losses, but I just think that we need to recalibrate a little bit what we thought this team's ceiling would be. I think they're much more like that top 15-ish kind of a team than they are a top 5 team Big 12 title threat, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I think the conference, even we talk about Kansas, I think Kansas has flaws because I don't, like I said, when you focus on Grady Dick, I'm consistently concerned about their ability to shoot. So I just think they got to change when you got their guard play, because if you're in a close game, I got multiple guards that I can get a ball to and say, get me a bucket. I think the biggest thing they're lacking is they just don't have the rim protection that they've had in years past. But I love their guard play. I think, again, as long as you got great guard play, you're in every game. That's why that Marquette game was just such a surprising. And I think that's more of an anomaly than it is anything we can come to expect from Baylor.
Yep. Yeah. And Keontae George is probably the most talented of the bunch, but he's been the least efficient so far. I do think that that's going to tick up a little bit, but again, it's some better decisions with the shot selection will be. But overall, with the way that this roster is built, like I think that you have to be fairly happy if you're Scott Drew and you're sitting here heading into Big 12 play with a 10-2 record with wins over Gonzaga and wins over UCLA on neutral courts. It is what it is.
Yeah, that Marquette result was definitely an anomaly based on the results that we've seen elsewhere thus far. What I like about Baylor is that compared to other contenders, and you used Kansas as an example, I like that it feels like Baylor does have 3 different guys that any given night could be the guy, whereas Kansas, like you said, if you do take away Grady Dick, which I think is easier said than done, it's going to be Jalen Wilson. It's got to be Jalen Wilson. That's no disrespect to the other guys on the Kansas team. They have plenty of good players. McCullough can get 20 any given night. Harris can pop up in and out and give you a double-double at the point guard spot. But to me, any given night, the Baylor guard can be the best player on the floor, any of those 3. I don't think you can say that about really any other teams in that conference and not many others in the country. So I'm with you. Maybe a little more consistency is all it would be, but that'll come with time as Keontae George grows up a little bit, especially.